Did it? I mean, it sounds like you guys knew that Edie would probably guard you, but did it surprise you that not only was he guarding you, but I mean, he was giving you a lot of room?
Nope. We talked about it, and it's always play basketball the right way. Shoot the ball when you're open, attack, get into the paint, get to the free throw line, and pass it to the open guy. So no matter who's guarding me, I'm always going to play the exact same way.
Did you figure that scheme though would lead to you getting to the rim a lot and scoring as much as you did?
Yes and no. I feel like I have the opportunity here to pick my spots incredibly well, and they're always looking to get me the ball in my spots where I can be aggressive and put the ball in the basket or make the right play for the next individual. So we ran a couple sets for me to do that, and then Steph did all the other stuff.
How did you decide? Early you took a couple of those threes when they were way off, and then you kind of just started going to the rim regardless. Like, how do you decide when to keep shooting the threes or when to just kind of power through?
I mean, I can shoot. I just choose not to shoot threes. I'd rather drive into the paint, get me a layup, a midi, or pass the ball to somebody that's probably a much better shooter than I am. I think probably you and everybody else want me to shoot more threes, but I like shooting some layups.
Jimmy, throughout the season, you said that you will take what the defense is giving you in terms of shooting and being aggressive offensively. You've had 20 attempts in each of the last two games. What have you seen on the floor that has warranted that?
That we may need me to score a little bit more right now, but it could change come when we play Sunday, something like that. If I can get 17 assists and we win, that's great. If I can get 10 steals or 2 steals and we win, that's great. But I think me scoring a little bit more has definitely helped us a little bit.
Jimmy, what personally bothers you more, turnovers or missed free throws?
Turnovers. I hate turning the ball over. Free throws, but turnovers really irk me.
What do you think you can take from this game, especially going against somebody like Edie compared to going against Houston with their defense and someone like an Amen Thompson?
Not much. We'll go back to the drawing board and see how I can be effective on the offensive side of the ball. But I really believe I can score with the best of them. I don't care who I'm lined up against.
Jimmy, even before you got here, the conversation was, get Steph to play meaningful basketball again. He wants to play meaningful basketball, and you've certainly underlined that ever since you've been here. How is there satisfaction? I don't relief might be the wrong word. Obviously, you've got games to play, but to get Steph, to get this team back into a meaningful position again, what does that feel like?
It feels great. I want everybody to be happy. For sure, Steph, he deserves it. What he's done for the game of basketball, not only this city and this organization. He's in it for the long haul. He wants to win. He wants to win every single game, every single possession. And I know I want to win a championship, so he needs his, this will be number 5 for him, so he needs one more.
Could you sense that from him today?
Yeah. Every game for me, though, he's always – it's like I always say, you're never really out of any game when you have him on your team. And if you have a lead of 5, he can easily take your lead to 15 to 17, maybe even 20 all by himself. So I'm glad that he's on my team.
Jimmy, you weren't just guarded by Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson, all the big guys. You also had to guard them. How much do you enjoy going up against the 7-footers, the really big dudes down the paint?
Not a lot.
Not a lot? Not a lot?
That's Draymond's job. That's the defensive player of the year. I'm not the defensive player of the year, so Draymond needs to be able to guard the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, and the 1. I just need to be able to guard like 2s and 3s.
Jimmy over here. You've obviously played in the league a long time. Have you ever seen anybody like Gary Payton II? Steve described him as a power forward on offense at 6'2", and a point guard on defense. And what kind of difference did he make tonight, and can he make going forward?
He's going to be a reason that we win a couple games in the playoffs. But what I love most about GP is he makes sure everybody's calm. He lets everybody know, we're going to be just fine. We just got to get a stop. We got to get a bucket. We got to execute. He'll take and make some big shots. For sure, get a big-time dunk and get the crowd into the game. And then guard whoever you ask him to guard. But more than anything, he's poised, he's calm, and it's like he's been in this league 15, 16 years.
Jimmy, it's no secret what these next few days mean for you guys to get some time off. What does the next 4 days look like for you until Sunday?
Rest and recovery, a lot of free throws, a lot of free throws, a lot of dominoes and coffee, a lot of dominoes, coffee, and free throws.
Jimmy, you had obviously a lot of drama this season. This team, the Warriors didn't think they would be in the playoffs. You didn't know if you'd be in the playoffs. Just now that you didn't?
I did.
You knew?
Yeah.
Well, just now that it's happened, just what's the moment like for you? Is it different than other experiences with different teams?
For sure. But, whenever I talked to Steph and Dre and Steve and Mike before I even got here, I was telling them I can help. Now, I don't know in what manner that I can help, but we're going to make the playoffs. I feel like I can give any team, for sure this one, a chance to win. And they believe it, I believe it, and that's all that you can ask for. Now we just got to go out there, execute, play our tails off, and win some more basketball games.
To follow on.
Jimmy Butler with a math question.
12 months with 5 seconds left. You had the 5-second violation. Can you just take us through what happened there? Were you trying to get the ball to Desmond Bain as he was kind of flaring to the corner? Just what was your insight on what happened?
Yeah, Desmond was the first option on that. There was a small window for that. I think Jimmy Butler made a small defensive error. Looney was on top of it. Did a good job right there. There's a small window, but it's difficult because you can see Butler hesitating for a second there, and that was the window for to throw the pass. We didn't, and after this, they were in perfect position to take out the second options out of that. So,
how did you guys get back into the game in the second half?
I mean, I would like to say sheer will, but it's much more than that. Guys were really competing. We had a very good halftime talk with the guys where it's basically the basic idea was that we have more to give. We have more to give, and we got to do it, and it starts with everybody out there on the floor, and we gave them the lead. We felt like we gave them the lead, and then we worked ourselves back into the game, and unfortunately, it's been the story that we play a hell of a game and then are unable to close it.
After losing another game in a way that's going to hurt, and then having to come back on Friday, I guess, is that going to be hard to pick yourself up out off the mat for something like that?
Of course, it's hard, Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. But it's our job, and I've always thought in these situations, learned this as a younger player, that there's nothing we can do to change this result anymore. So all we can do is try to learn from this and then apply it to the game 2 days from now. That's all we can do.
Coach, right here, a couple interesting aspects to your defense in this game. One, you put Zach Edey guarding Jimmy Butler quite a bit. The other one, you just put Scottie Pippen Jr. on Steph, no switching, nothing like that. Can you take me through the reasoning behind those decisions, how you thought those went?
Yeah, so the matchups in the starting unit, for example, with Jaren and Zach, we decided to cross-match for a couple of reasons there. First one being that they also matched up this way, and we felt like it was better for our transition defense to be able to maintain those matchups. Other one, Butler has not been a very effective three-point shooter this season. He had 4 pull-up threes before this season made, and we wanted to also keep Jaren out of foul trouble, which Butler does excellently, and to have Zach patrol the paint and wall off all the drives while still maintaining pass pressure on Draymond Green's playmaking, which was something that picked us off and really caused us issues because he's much more of a passing hub than Butler in this situation where he's more of a cutter. So that was the main reasoning. We went back and forth as always and also changed it up during the game, but I thought it was our reasoning and motives behind it were very solid.
Right, Coach. What were the conversations like with Ja after he turned his ankle, and what was it like just seeing him trying to gut through it in the fourth quarter?
No, there was no conversation. It was a monologue. He told me that he's good to go.
And what was it like just seeing him trying to play through it in the fourth quarter?
I mean, seeing him like in that situation, like was to me, you know, I'm of that generation that still remembers Isaiah Thomas hopping around on one ankle. You know, it wasn't quite that, but like hopefully it's not as severe. I have no information on that, but it was inspiring, and I think it also lifted the guys up that to see that your leader, you know, is putting it all on the line there.
What did you make of the way Zach played overall in the game?
I have to see the film, but generally, like when I look at it, like somehow he always ends up in the plus. You know, he's very important for us. He solidifies the defensive rebound, and we've spoken about this several times that his impact is also not always the most obvious one. It's the opponent tends to offensive rebound much better when he's off the floor, and offensively we got ourselves a lot of extra shot opportunities through his 7 offensive rebounds today. And I think the situations where he still has room to grow, those are things that will come through age, recognizing or rather handling than recognizing double teams, for example, and the quickness of the decision making. But he's on a really positive trajectory also on that.
And how important was Desmond's shot making in the second half, especially with Ja, you know, hurting?
I mean, Des's shot making is always important, and he's somebody I really like. I watched that situation, the last situation. You know, we really wanted to get the ball in his hands, knowing that they're gonna try to switch those, pre-switch the matchups before the ball gets inbounded. But it's he's a very good offensive player, and when he starts making shots like that, we are very difficult to stop, and that was a big part why we made our run.
When you lose a game where you might have had a chance to get a game-tying shot up, how much does that eat at you as a coach, or is that something that you just have to put away quickly?
Yeah, it always eats. There are other things that eat you up more. I think those in this day and age, they're like it's easy to pinpoint those situations that, okay, here this happened, but I mean, the game is 200 possessions, 100 going the other way, 100. There's a lot of stuff on the margins that you can do better, and I've always believed that you need to be really good at the things that happen the most often. You know, and late game X's and O's, they're important. They are very magnified, especially in the NBA environment. But it's not the situation that happens most often. But it's very glaring when it does happen. So you have to find a balance also as a coach, like how much time do you invest in things that might make you look bad, but are not maybe moving the needle in the big picture, you know? So those are things that come with this. It's part of the zeitgeist. Thank you.
So one more shot for Thomas Isolo and the Memphis Grizzlies to get into the playoffs. That'll be Friday night. The Warriors are moving on to face the Rockets. We'll hear from head coach Steve Kerr next.
Chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng. Và hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là con heo. Mọi người, hôm nay vòng của mình là lợn đất. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu làm nha.
Là chín mọng vàng đẹp to nhất.
Tôi thời hiện đại mà nhỏ thì anh có gì